taking a look at USD CHF, and I'm looking to go long here on a pullback. So price broke out. We had a big break to the upside. This was a key indication for me to look to be predominantly on the long side. We broke out here, we retested, we broke, right? We continued to make a push to the high side. Now, recently, we have now officially come back into this area of value. Now, I am looking for this level of support, which was at one point to be as resistance, right? It was resistance, now turned support. I'm looking for this level to hold and potentially give me a nice entry to ride this thing back to the upside. The dollar, in terms of the commitment of traders, down here, the commitment of traders data shows us that the dollar has a 78.56% long ratio. That is a very high holding of on the long side by institutional traders. You can see price did ultimately come down and stop me out for a loss here. So you can see my two little blue and red candle or arrows. These are where I got into the market and where I got out. So you can see, tried to buy that support level with the idea of 99,000 units to the upside, with the idea that, okay, past resistance could hold again. We saw it rally here, and we were just in a range-bound environment. So basically, as we came down into this area, I was considering that, you know, we're sort of just chopping before a potential continuation. We did not get that continuation. A loss of about $400 on USD CHF, and we move on. A loser is just a loser. In the grand scheme of things, it's not about one trade, it's about the next 1,000. So taking a look at USD JPY and gonna see if we can make some more money on this one. We got a nice upward trending market direction. Now, on top of that, we also have a nice level that we previously broke out of being retested that we were able to make a nice profit on earlier in this week.
A bullet train to heck!
And we suddenly were just out of the money with a $403 loss. And now I'm going to go home, sit in a corner and cry as I think about how terrible of a trader. Nope. This is a good learning lesson, and I love uploading videos where I take a losing trade because it always actually brings more good conversation, I think, in a losing video than in a winning video. In a winning video, it's like, okay, hey, cool, this was a cool trade, this is the strategy, that worked out, awesome. In a losing video, what we very often get a chance to do is we get a chance to make some learning lessons out of it. Live trading here, taking a look at GBP JPY, and I actually just entered into a position. We've got stops on the trade, we've got an entry here, and I wanted to discuss a little bit as to why I took this trade. But we've actually just had recently a chance, in my view, or my perspective, I'm looking at this recent dip as a potential to continue the bullish trend. We've got a level here where price seems to be supported by buyers. We had what was a level of resistance becoming a level of support. After price came down to this zone, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm thinking I would like to go with the trend and just using price action, make a move here. There's been an aggressive sell pressure by retail traders. And what we know, unfortunately, about most retail traders is that they lose money. And so if they're on that side of the trade, I am much more interested in being on the long side. I'm looking actually to go against retail sentiment. This is a component usually of my trading strategy, is to go against the herd when it comes to retail traders, as they tend to lose money. You can see, although this level was a pretty good spot of demand, we actually broke out pretty clean through both of these levels. We had some news that came into effect. A little bit of an unexpected thing from the Russia-Ukraine situation caused some volatility, and ultimately had a little bit of an effect where it took us out of our trade for about a $400 loss. This is nothing terrible, this is nothing end of the world, and I want to make a point here that even though, you know, we took a trade and the trade didn't work out, this is not like, oh, the account is ruined. This is a small loss on a relatively larger trading sized account. So you put that all into perspective. You know, the point I want to show this is that this is going to happen to all of us. There's going to be trades where, you know, it sets up, it has good criteria for an entry. This met my criteria, and I've had many trades just like this one that ultimately became really great winners. But sometimes there's just some variance in your trading where not every trade is going to be a winner, and even though something sets up for you and it looks good for you based on your strategy that you've backtested and it works overall, it still closes out for a loss. And sometimes that's just going to video. Take a look at CAD yen here, and I just picked up a long position. You can see each time prices come down to this 105.53 area, we've seen pretty fast rejection from buyers. So at this point, what I'm doing is I'm basically willing to take the risk that I think we could continue to rally back up on the longer time frames, higher time frames, the daily chart, etc. And believe it or not, I'm actually going to close this trade out for a loss. When losses are forming, I'm happy to jump out of a trade. I believe quickly taking losses is a key component to my trading strategy that has helped to make me successful over my trading career. Part of the reason for this is that we didn't see the price reaction that I was looking for. Remember, if you watched the first portion of the trade, I was looking for this area to react pretty dang quickly and to get a strong rally, perhaps just a double bottom before starting to rise again for the CAD JPY. It's now going into the weekend, and I don't want to risk the over weekend gap, which could gap much lower if things continue to go bearish, as we've been seeing a pretty quick sell-off here in the equities market, which has some positive correlation to things like CAD JPY. I'm going short Euro CAD here today, and let's go ahead and start the trade. So I'm actually going to risk, let me see what I want to do. So before I take the trade, what I've got here is a couple levels marked out. We are currently pulling back here on Euro CAD in the context of an overall downward trend. We've been seeing nice lower highs here on this market, and on the higher time frame, talking like the daily chart, we've been trending lower overall. So I'm looking to get short, and I want to try and evaluate a good place to point out a entry and stop loss. So I'm actually going to enter right in this zone. Now, in terms of where I would like to put my stop, I'm going to be a bit aggressive here and say I'd like to go for about 50 pips of a stop loss. So if I actually go into my buy trade, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 50 pips stop loss. I'm selling, and I'm going to risk $800 on this trade. GDP growth, we have more growth in Canada. Inflation, we have less inflation, which is better in Canada. Euro region has higher unemployment, so we're going to go ahead and side more so with the CAD, which is sitting at only 4.9% unemployment compared to 6.6. We are all out of Euro CAD for a lovely loss of $795.
Oh no.
Which of course, definitely not ideal, but let's go take a look at what just happened with the chart. So our initial entry on this trade was actually really good. We saw this market move in our favor, so clearly we did identify a pretty good market level. Looking, of course, historically or in hindsight is a dangerous thing to play, because it's easy to always say, you know, what would have done, what you would have done or could have done, etc. So of course, in this case, I'm feeling like, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda closed out my trade when I was in profit. Was up a couple $100 on the trade. Unfortunately, did not get a chance to trail stops to break even or to move or to take any profit. And so again, this market starts going down, which is great. But then, of course, the market rallies stronger, and we actually broke out of this level. That's a pretty at Euro NZD on the 4-hour chart. I have a short position open, and in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about why I took this trade, and together we are going to watch this trade without the benefit of hindsight. We're going to watch the trade play out together, and I'm going to walk you through a trade like an average trade that I would take. Now, of course, I don't know how this trade is going to play out, and if that's something that you appreciate, if you want to watch a video where I'm not speaking with hindsight in my favor and telling you what already happened, I'm actually going to trade this live, then make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Let's jump into this trade. So I just shorted Euro New Zealand as we retested the 38.2% retracement. I drew my level from the swing high here to the swing low at 1.5880. This is a 4-hour chart, so this is more of a swing trade idea, with the idea being, okay, price is coming up to a level of resistance that lines up nicely with the 38.2% retracement. And I'm looking for a continuation of this momentum downtrend that we've seen. So it's actually been only about an hour or so since I took this trade, and really quickly it has moved in my favor, which is, of course, a good start. They just came out with some numbers here. I'll show you guys what just happened. 3% in terms of interest cash rate came out, which is their central bank's interest rate. It was forecasted to be 3%, so it came out as expected, which of course is a bullish thing generally for a interest rate or for a currency if their interest rate is rising. Unfortunately, I spoke a little bit too soon with my idea there of not moving stops to break even. This thing rallied right off of support perfectly. If you were a buyer, then congratulations. Price came all the way back up to my entry and then beyond it, closing me out for a loss overall. Now, Am I disappointed with this trade? Truthfully, yeah, a little bit, because that was a lot of profit that was on the table. I didn't trail stops to break even because I knew that volatility was going to be high, but I didn't quite think we were going to just pop way past right away like that. A little bit of a strange market move, but this is why we have stops in the trade, because things would have been much worse by now. And you know, I'm not totally defeated just because I took a loss, right? The idea here is that I took a trade here. It didn't quite work out, but we were able to get out with a small amount of profit. Then we re-entered, that didn't work out, and we took a small loss. There's no scenario here where I just catastrophically failed and blew up the entire account, right? I just took a small loss, and my idea just didn't work out as well as I thought.
Today I'm taking a look at CAD, JPY, and I am currently in a long position that I just entered moments ago before starting to record. I'm risking $1,600 on this trade. You'll notice that we're looking at the 1 hour chart. If we take a look at the 2 hour chart, it might actually be even easier to see this. What I've highlighted here is a key spot on the chart where if we look left, you can see basically price has been holding as a level of resistance until recently where we saw a major breakout to the upside. So price launched to the upside there, and on this pullback here today, I'm deciding to pick this pair up long at what was resistance, and now I'm anticipating to hold as support. Man, this one is going to be painful to put on YouTube, I can already tell. I took this trade, I put it right here, price went in my favor just a little bit here, and over the London session we had a tank just below market structure by just a little bit here. You know, we were on this market structure, and then it poked through, and I was like, okay, we survived, right? That looks good. And then we came back later and poked just a bit more, and this is where I was taken out of my trade. And sure enough, just as markets do, as soon as it got me out of the trade, it started swinging back the other direction. But all in all, we're out for a small loss. Here's the, we'll show the screenshot of the loss there, and we move on, right? I have some trades running already, which are going really quite well off the back of this too. So I'm in no hurry to sort of chase this thing or get frustrated with this thing, because this is just part of trading. And I want to say this because a lot of times new traders, when this happens to them, they're so defeated by it, they're so frustrated by it. And the reality is, with a trade like this, one trade is one trade. If you're going to be a professional Forex trader someday, or now, or yesterday, or whenever, the goal is not to make it or break it on a single trade. The goal is to, over many, many trades, you're going to take losses, you're going to take break-even trades, you're going to take winners. Do your winners add up to outweigh the losses? So sometimes you get some of this. This is just part of the trading journey, is you're going to have some weird trades like this where they stop you out and then they go back the other direction. And not, you know, you can play this game where you're constantly like, well, next time I need to do this, and next time I need to do this. But, you know, I might say, well, next time I need to widen my stop. What if that means increasing my risk? And next time it goes all the way down here and turns back around, right? For me, it's a simple thing. The stop loss is in place to signal that I was wrong about a level. Unfortunately, this level did not hold, and if I keep widening my stops every time, I'm going to learn that behavior, and then it's going to do something like this, right? So we can always play devil's advocate and always say about what we could do better, but the main goal is, you know, did you accomplish your goal? I stopped out here. I took what I would believe to be a good trade. I managed my risk. I didn't take a huge loss. And overall, I was able to basically identify when I was wrong, and that gave me the leeway to move on from this trade and find some other ones that are already in profit. So just a little context, there you go.